Hey all, and welcome back to Riverbend Discovery Center. Hope you guys are all having a wonderful day so far. My name is Leaf, and it's so great to have you guys here. Oh my gosh, I know, it's been quite some time since we've actually stopped back in this little zoo. In case if you guys are new here, which I know there's quite a bit of you guys out there, this is essentially going to be a lower budget, kind of roadside-y zoo. Nothing really too crazy, nothing really too hyper-themed like Boggy Bottom was, or nothing really too high budget like our former, what's it called, Los Monsteros kind of is. That one's put on hold for a little bit. I just got to work up some inspiration to work on a few habitats in there. But I recently just got a bunch of inspiration to work in here recently, and what I really wanted to do, and I have to thank my buddy Forge for this idea, is building a nice elephant paddock. And I know people think, like, you know, elephants are high budget animals. Well, sometimes they are, sometimes they really aren't. So this is going to be an older habitat, made originally for a few elephants, but now there's just one lone male in here, and I really like the idea of it. It does seem a little bit small, I do apologize, but really, there's not much I could have done. I really wanted to keep this a little bit more grounded in realism, so I did base it off of an elephant habitat locally near me. It's at Buttonwood Zoo. It's nothing really too crazy. It still is actually quite considerably large in terms of, like, you know, older standards, but it's still a really awesome place. In case if you guys are local to the area, I really do suggest you guys go out there. It's been rated like the top small zoo in the US, which I think is wicked awesome to see. Especially right in our backyard, so that's wicked cool. But moving ourselves all the way through here, we're getting to work on a few different things at once. You saw that we're working on the actual fencing, and that took up a good portion of time, so hopefully I can get those on the workshop and stuff like that. But what I really wanted to do, I wanted to have this beautiful bright white elephant fencing all throughout the habitat, and I also do kind of make ourselves a little bit of a feeder area, two of them actually, so we can get them in here. And I also bring the elephants in here as well. I'm just trying to work with them. I use Simply Savannah's shade over here. I really love the style of it. And she already did the work for it for this one. So I'm like, you know what? I'm just going to steal that. I'm going to yoink that right from the workshop. So we kind of work with that over there just as a way to give the elephant a little bit more shade. Because he is an old boy, we got to make sure that he's cared for in the highest of standards, as much as Riverbend can pay for it. But essentially making our way through here, and I apologize if you hear some noise in the background. It is currently scorching hot. I have the window open, and you may hear a little bit of motorcycles out there, but you know what? It's totally fine. So what I'm working on through here is adding a few more details. I added a little gate in there. I'm not doing an interior. In case you guys aren't aware, Riverbend really isn't an interior kind of zoo. I don't really care too much for that, but kind of working on throughout here and just adding these small details to the actual elephant barn itself. Very much in line with the rest of the kind of building structures that we have all throughout the rest of the zoo. And essentially the next few days, I'm going to try and wrap Riverbend up as well. It's been a zoo that I love. It's a zoo that I had a lot of fun with at first. It was very much inspired off of a few visits of mine to some like local and some other zoos down in Florida. And I really just wanted to build off of that. But at this point, it's kind of like we've kind of had our fun with it. And it's kind of time to really set it out to pasture. So we're going to do our best to make some beautiful habitats for all of these animals in here. And yeah, that's essentially what the next goal is for the channel. So we're going to be seeing a lot of Riverbend and hopefully a lot of ZSU, so we have some updates on that. I'll bring those in with the next video and whatnot, so you guys will actually be able to check that out then. But making our way throughout here and adding a lot of foliage. I had a blast with the foliage. My favorite thing about Riverbend, and it sucks that I have to like wrap it up soon because it is getting a little bit too big, but my favorite thing about it is that it just has this beautiful, beautiful foliage palette that just makes it so easy to build for. And just like a general good style, because I don't really need to worry about elevation all that much. I don't really need to care about all that much because it really doesn't affect the zoo too much. I know Zoov doesn't really like that, but hey, what can you do? But making our way throughout here and adding all these small details and covering up these dead zones. some of these are my favorite things to really like flesh out, just because it helps it feel a lot more brighter and has it feel a lot more lived in. So I keep on doing that throughout it. I add some rocks at the edge of the habitat. You guys may remember that from our Los Monsteros elephant habitat. We have that on over there because the elephants wouldn't really want to step on kind of like, you know, fine rocks like that. They would much rather traverse the rest of their habitat that's made out of like soils and sand and stuff like that. I also gave them a sand bath. I'm not sure if I did it just yet, and here I am looking for some fences. I eventually had to kind of cover them up. Not cover them up, but kind of yoink them from other places in the zoo because all the other ones were just way too big. So we have a little bit of that going on throughout here. I know it's very samey for this entire park, having like these same fences and stuff, but I think it works pretty well. But yeah, this is something that Buttonwood Zoo also does. They just have a big sand mound where the elephants can kind of lay down on. They could use them for like dust baths and stuff like that. So I have a little bit of that action happening right over there, and I'm pretty satisfied with it. It looks nice. Also doing the general theming and foliage for the rest of the habitat. I use the periwinkle grass and like the lighter version of it, kind of like that taiga kind of color. So I have a lot of that going on throughout here, and I'm very happy with it. It looks pretty nice and it looks pretty dusty, which I think works extremely well for an elephant habitat, and I was trying to figure out what would work well for one. So I kind of make my way throughout my blueprints, but I didn't really find anything too special. Sorry about that, I had to clear my throat. Making our way throughout here and adding, like, not really adding, but changing some stuff over here. I didn't really like how high up the ticket booths were, so I'm kind of just changing that out over here and just finishing up some smaller changes. Essentially, these next few episodes will be mostly the habitats, but also going throughout the zoo and doing the small changes as they do come up. So if I needed to add some like foliage over here or add a sign, this would be kind of like the episode, or like it'll be kind of like the episode format where we kind of do stuff like that. Wanting to add some peacock statues around the aviaries. I'm not sure if I'll have free roaming peacocks in the zoo. I think it may be something that would happen in a place like this, so I may end up doing that in a little bit. So I think I could do all that soon, but also just decorating the North America Trail a little bit more, because that is our next goal. In the next episode, we will be covering a red fox exhibit, so stay tuned for that. But essentially just working with the rest of this stuff and making stuff look pretty. The olive trees in particular are something that I really loved in here, so I really wanted to make use of those. And also adding some more rocks and stones throughout the exhibit, because it is like, we really can't do much in here. So I really just want to add as much detail as possible. And I also gave them a little bit of an enrichment. So I do a little bit of a hanging tire over here, because that's something that they tend to play with a lot. So we kind of work with that. And we kind of have it be aligned in between like the shade structure, and I use the African bead piece right there. Very classic for like a tire piece. So we kind of have that hanging right there, and we use the rope coils to have it feel a little bit more like realistic. And we kind of lower the entire thing a little bit more in a little bit, just so that just so that the elephants can actually reach it and play around with it. And I think it looks pretty good there too, and just doing a little bit more terrain work, making it feel a little bit more lived in, and making it feel a little bit more loved. Also going through and adding even more details. This is the last part of the speed build, so you just see me do like some smaller touches. I wanted to add a few statues throughout here because I felt like we are missing stuff like that. So I gave them just a smidge of theming, just like, a little hint of theming. So we add a little bit of that in there, and I can't believe I forgot my beautiful what do we even call those? Dogwood bush? Dog rose bush or whatever. Still don't know the name of them. Still don't want to learn it. I don't really care. But we add a few of those throughout here, and it looks incredible in the end. They just look so bright and colorful. It's just gorgeous. So making our way throughout here and just adding the rest of the foliage. Oh, this was wicked cool. I really want to add a little fountain too. And I thought this was a kind of cute idea, just to have a little fountain right here. Nothing insane. Like, this would be something that you would see in the park or something like that, so I really like that. And another thing I wanted to add were some shades as well, just to help keep the guests under cooling. Not really cooling, but under, like, protection of the sun. Oh my gosh, those motorcycles are still going. Isn't that incredible? But making our way throughout here and adding some more fine details and adding a few more rocks everywhere just to help it feel a little bit more cohesive. And yeah, there we go, into the B-roll. Thank you guys so much for watching. Hope you guys are happy to see the end of Riverbend. It's been one of my favorite zoos. And I don't know, it was just always such a fun place to build in that I hope you guys enjoy it. If you guys are new here, be sure to, I welcome you guys to the channel. In case if you guys want to subscribe, I always do appreciate that. But all that being said, thank you guys so much for watching, and I can't wait to see you all in the next episode. Take care and have the most wonderful of wonderful days. Bye-bye now.